Welcome, everybody. I'm Maureen Dinkins. I am the owner of Clarity Global Yoga. I am also one of their lead trainers, and we have online yoga classes, 200-hour and 300-hour yoga teacher trainings, online yoga classes, workshops, kirtan, Sanskrit chanting, philosophy, all things yoga. So today we are going to be discussing Patanjali's book, the Yoga Sutras. And it is a book that is thousands of years old, and it describes how to do yoga with very little explanation of the asanas. So today we're going to talk about Patanjali's verse that talks about enlightenment and doing drugs. So let's get into it. Before we get started, I'd like to reintroduce myself. My name is Maureen Dinkins, and I am the owner and founder of Clarity Global Yoga. I started this online yoga school in 2020, but I have been teaching students since 2004, training students to become teachers since 2011. I am a 500-hour educational registered yoga teacher. I am also an authorized Ashtanga teacher, which means I've spent many years in India learning Ashtanga Yoga from the great gurus. I am a meditation teacher and a teacher trainer. I also help people with their diet through yoga using Ayurveda. Ayurveda is eating for your dosha, and I can help you change your diet, change your ways so that your body can get back in balance and start healing. I also am a travel guide for yoga in India. I take groups of serious yoga students to India to introduce them to the places where they can really dive deep into the traditions of yoga. So let's get started. We're going to talk a little bit about Patanjali. And Patanjali wrote this book called the Yoga Sutras. And this book really explains what yoga is and what are the obstacles to practicing yoga, and when you practice yoga for many years uninterrupted, how you reach enlightenment, or what we call samadhi. But there are many ways that we can reach samadhi. And Patanjali discusses the use of drugs in the Yoga Sutras, specifically Book 4, Sutra 1. Book 4 is called the Kaivalya Pada, and Kaivalya means liberation or isolation, referring to the ultimate goal of yoga, which is the soul's liberation from the cycle of birth and death, and it's isolation from the material world. We are doing yoga. We are practicing yoga so that we can sit and meditate for long periods of time and not be attached to any worldly things, not even our own physical vessel, our bodies. But he does say in Book 4, which is pretty far back in the book, so you have to read the book to get to this point, Jnana Ashtad, my Sanskrit, I didn't practice this verse. Yanma Ashadi Mantra Tapa Samadijaha Siddhayaha. So it means perfections or siddhis are attained through birth, herbs or drugs, mantra, austerities, or samadhi. So perfection, what do they mean by perfection in yoga? Well, nothing's perfect. We can't be perfect. But by perfections in yoga, it means practicing it for a long period of time till your mind is free and you have full control over your mind and you have full control over your body. And some people are born with that perfection. It is their karma. It is their rebirth. Maybe it's their final rebirth on this planet. And they've already gone through all of the trials and tribulations that their previous lives have been. And they've been the dark. They've been the light. They've had all of the experiences. And now here they are experiencing lightness in this life. But it is very, very rare. Maybe Jesus was one of those. I'm pretty sure that Paramahansa Yogananda was one of those, and many, many others. Now here he also says perfection or siddhis are attained through herbs or drugs. And we also know that, a lot of people who are spiritual seekers will do ayahuasca, cacao, marijuana, mushrooms, psilocybin, all of these things to help to get to a deeper state of consciousness. And perhaps that's what Patanjali is talking about. But is it really sustainable? Can you maintain that deeper level of consciousness consistently by doing drugs? Because we know that sometimes the drugs can hurt our bodies. And to create samadhi or bliss in the life, it has to be something that's practiced regularly and sustained. And that's why we work on practicing yoga every single day, because we can't be doing ayahuasca every single night. I mean, maybe some people can, but I definitely can't. And then we have the mantra. I also teach Sanskrit chanting. And in my Sanskrit chanting classes, I have students tell me all the time, they hit that spot, right? They hit that spot where their body was vibrating, their mind was clear, and they just felt very light and very, very happy. So reciting mantras regularly, daily, also can help you get to that point. But again, like the use of herbs, you can't be chanting a mantra 24/7. You have to go out and live in the world. And then samadhi is that bliss state. That state comes when you've practiced yoga for many years uninterrupted. And that is exactly what Patanjali says in his book, the Yoga Sutras. In order to reach samadhi, you must practice yoga for many years uninterrupted. That doesn't mean 5. That doesn't mean 10. It probably means 20, 30, 40, or a whole lifetime. And so when we get a glimmer of what our spirit is trying to guide us to, bliss, samadhi, enlightenment, maybe we get it through herbs or drugs. Maybe we get it through chanting a mantra. Maybe we get it through, restraints, our austerities, or samadhi. Because samadhi is bliss, meaning no attachment to anything. We are just purely, purely free. And when we practice those austerities, those withdrawing of the senses, right? Not reacting to things, not being addicted to things, not just going for things even like sugar and drugs. We could be addicted to drugs. And that's not going to lead us to enlightenment. That's just going to take us way, way down. So it is possible to reach a samadhi or a blissful state with the use of herbs. But is it sustainable, right? Is it really sustainable? He's really mentioning that the practice of yoga is probably more perfect to do than to continue using herbs to reach that state of samadhi. So it does mean that the spiritual powers or perfections can be achieved through different means, including birth, the use of certain herbs or drugs, chanting of mantras, practice of austerities, and through deep meditative absorption or samadhi, where we reach bliss. Now, I'm also a meditation teacher, and a lot of people tell me they can't meditate because they can't shut off their mind. It's the same thing about saying you can't go to an asana or yoga asana class because you can't touch your toes. Well, these are the places where you learn to do that if you want to. But if you're not interested in clearing your mind and taking control of your mind, then you're probably not interested in practicing yoga. You're probably not interested in meditation. You're still interested in the attachments of this world, and you're not simply ready to seek samadhi. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about this verse in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. You can write your comments below in the YouTube comment section, because it's always really baffling to me, and I have this conversation a lot with my advanced students, and it always just gets so interesting, and everybody's opinions are so different. Well, thanks for joining me today. Again, my name is Maureen Dinkins. You should check out our website at www.clarityglobal.org. Have a great day.